and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Still no Scott. Still no signal. Well, we're working on it currently. If you're listening on the app, that on hold music in the background. By the way, you want to jam out to some hold music? Yeah, jamming out to some hold music. But trying to get us back over the airwaves. SEC tournament started last night, and Arkansas needed overtime to down Vanderbilt, while the Georgia Bulldogs. Oh, those Georgia Bulldogs. I'm going to replay a little bit of what Nate Oates had to say yesterday, as Bama does not take to the floor until Friday. Here's Coach Oates.
As far as the injuries go, Rylan has not gone live yet, but he's doing more and more basketball activity every day, so we're hopeful he can possibly play Friday. We'll put him through more stuff tomorrow and see how he responds, and it'll end up being a game-time decision. So we've done well up in Nashville. Obviously, the one tournament that we've had that wasn't in Nashville since I've been here was in Tampa, and we didn't perform that well. So we like the tournament being back up in Nashville. I think the more important thing is our guys are locked in, ready to go. I thought we've had a couple of really good practices here these last 2 days. So, and it's good we've got the bye all the way to Friday. I think it's the first time since '91 that we've had back-to-back seasons with a top 4 seed. So getting top 4 seed's a big deal. It's hard to win 4 straight games. There's 4 teams that'll try to win 3 straight games. Typically, that's where the winner comes out of one of those 4. Typically, now obviously it could go the other way. So, who knows who will end up playing on Friday? But Florida, if that's who it ends up being, handles us pretty well. And then it's been a long time since we played Missouri, and Georgia kind of the same. It's been a while since we played them. So we'll kind of watch how that game goes tonight, watch how the game goes tomorrow night, see who we end up playing, make sure our guys are locked in, ready to go. But, we've had a good regular season, 13-5, and arguably the best conference in college basketball. One of the top 2 is a really good year. So, we don't want to diminish the fact we've had a great year, but it was a little disappointing. We felt like we could have, won the league, had a share of it. So now we got to regroup, and I think our guys have done that, get their heads back in the right place and try to go for a tournament championship, because the league hands out 2 champions every year. So Tennessee's got 1, and then tournament champion will yet to be determined, and we're going to try to do what we can to get this thing done here.
Yeah, Coach, just what's the significance of having a guy like Latrell back, especially if you end up playing Florida, who wasn't available to play against?
Yeah, I mean, he's played really well. You kind of look at efficiency numbers. He's our highest rate. You go to like Ken Palm's individual player offensive efficiency. He's our highest rated guy. He doesn't turn the ball over. He makes open shots, and he really guards. Somebody follows the scouting report. He knows what he's supposed to do. So it's crucial we get him back. It'd be great if we could have him and Ryan both backs and we get some backcourt depth. It's going to be hard to win 3 games in a row with playing Aaron and Mark as many minutes as they've had to play with both Trelly and Ryle and them being out. So, if we can get them both back, I think gives us a lot better shot to win 3 in a row. But we definitely are a better team when we have both them. And for sure, you asked about Trelly. When we have Trelly back, he was playing really good basketball when he went out, and then we dropped a couple when he was out. So it'd be nice to have him back.
Yeah, just kind of in general, what's your approach like when you get into tournament play and you don't know what opponent you're going to be playing? How does that preparation, what's that like?
You know what? I mean, you split the scouts up between your staff. Now, the conference tournament's a little different than the NCAA tournament. Conference tournament, you've already played everybody, so you've already had the assistant that's had the scouts. You're kind of brushing up on some stuff. When we get to the NCAA tournament, you'll assign one guy of the team you're playing in the first round for sure, and then you'll assign the 2 other guys, and in that you've got a day between games. So with the team, we don't really do anything for the next 2 before we play the 1. Now in this today we went over some stuff for Kentucky. We try to pick things that apply to both. Like we've got Florida, Georgia, Missouri. So what common things are, do all 3 of those teams have? What common things would Kentucky have with these? Let's go over that. And then, if there's some different stuff that they do, let's make sure we go over it in one of these days. We kind of went over the Florida, Georgia, Missouri yesterday. Monday was just all ourselves. Tuesday was the first game. Wednesday we went more the Kentucky route. And then tomorrow we still won't know who we're playing, during the day, because we'll play the winner of the last game at night. So, the first time we'll know for sure we're playing when we have any kind of thing is a walkthrough Friday, and we play in the afternoon Friday. We play in the evening Friday, but that walkthrough will be fine. And obviously the Saturday afternoon game. It's these conference tournaments when you've already played the team once, kind of reminding them of what the game plan was going in the first time, and then any tweaks you make to it, and just kind of review that.
Latrell talked a little bit after the Arkansas game just about how he's kind of getting still back in shape and getting his legs under him kind of thing. I mean, how long of a process, just when a guy is out like that, do you think it takes for him to get back to full go and full conditioning kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it takes long. If he was in really good shape before he went out. I think he's back pretty close right now, I would say. I mean, I thought he's looked great in practice all week. So, I mean, if he's not 100%, he's pretty close. He's got to be about 90, 95.
You said a few times that you need the freshmen to kind of step up and play a little bit above their age. How have they handled kind of turning the page of the regular season and looking ahead to their first pro season?
I mean, I think they've been good. I thought Sam's had a good couple of days of practice. Jaron had as good a practice as he's ever had here this week. I think Mo Diabate's kind of coming into his own. I mean, on Monday this week, he kind of dominated practice in a lot of regards. So I think all 3 of those guys have played well. Davin's been shooting it well. He shot it really well again today. He goes on scout team. He kind of becomes a different kind of player. So I think the freshmen it is March, the middle of March. They've had a lot of games under their belt. They've got 31 games under their belt. So don't expect them to play like freshmen anymore. And I think they're all playing their best basketball, which is what we want the whole team to be doing come March.
When you look at how the bracket can shake out, it could be a little bit of a redemption tour for you guys in terms of maybe Florida, then Kentucky, then Auburn and Tennessee. Is that something that the players have a chip on their shoulder? Are they eager to prove or to have that redemption? And how do you kind of handle that mindset? Yeah,
Pringle's the first one that brought it up. I think he called it a get back tour or something, But yeah, I mean, I thought we got embarrassed at Florida. I mean, if unless there's an upset, we'll see Florida. There could be an upset, but if there's no upsets, we'd play Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee. Obviously, the longer you go, the more chance there is for upsets. But all 3 of those teams, those are the last 3 teams we lost to, and Florida embarrassed us, Kentucky embarrassed us, and we lost a tough one at home to Tennessee, but they kind of embarrassed us at their place. So, now all 3 were road games. None of these games up in Nashville beat true road games, although Kentucky's fans have come pretty strong up in Nashville in the past. But, it's technically a neutral game for everybody, so we got to play a little better than we did the last time, a lot better than we did the last time against these teams. But I think there's a chip on their shoulder. Any competitor, after you get embarrassed, wants to come back and show that, I'm not that bad. We didn't. As bad as we looked at Florida, we're not that bad. As bad as giving up 117 to Kentucky, our defense isn't that bad. We need to come back and compete a lot harder on these next go-rounds with all these teams.
You've mentioned it a few times this year, and you just mentioned it now with Pringle kind of speaking up. How good is that to see the maturity he's shown over the course of the season?
No, he's gotten a lot better over the last month. I mean, he's been really good talking, kind of being a better leader for us, getting his teammates to kind of buy in. You guys kind of gotten to know him over these last 2 years. He's got great personality. He's upbeat. He's he's definitely not afraid to talk. So it's been good, and he's been really good. So I've told him that. I've told the team that. See, people can change. People, and I me being a high school coach, you're able to see it. Certain kids, you work with them, you get a little frustrated at some stuff, but people have the capability to change, and it doesn't matter how old they get. People can always change, and I think he's changed a lot, and he's always been a leader. It's just whether he's, being a positive leader all the time, and he's been very good for the last month. I mean, he's been one of our best, more vocal leaders, and he's obviously willing to, eager to speak up, and we need him doing the right things, saying the right things. He's been doing that for the last month. All right, thanks.
And that was Nate Oates speaking yesterday to the media as the University of Alabama will get ready to take the floor on Friday. And you will hear, of course, the entire SEC tournament on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. You did last night, as both games were outstanding. We had an overtime game, 90-85, where Ernest T. Bass and Arkansas really tried to give the game away, honestly. It was just sitting there watching it from the Conference USA tournament in Probst Arena. It was kind of surreal. Vanderbilt was up big, 14 at the half. Looked like they might pull the upset, but they couldn't hold off Arkansas. Arkansas wins it 90-85, and it was a tough year for Vandy and Jerry Stackhouse. They finished 9-23. Mignon, though, what a game! Probably his last one in a Vanderbilt uniform. 29 for him. He and Lubin had 21. Vin Allen, Lubin, they both played very, very well for Vanderbilt and gave them every chance to win that game. But Mignon, man, what a job by the transfer in his 2 years at Vanderbilt. He played 37 minutes last night and did a great job. And for Arkansas, they were led by the 24 points of Battle. He ended up playing 40 minutes and nearly every minute of the game. It was a 45-minute game. He plays 40 minutes. He has 24. Trevon Mark, the transfer from Houston, ends up with 18, so they were guard-led. Mekhi Mitchell, who gave Alabama some problems, he ends up with 18 off the bench and did a nice job. Debo Davis with 12, the senior. Trevon Bazille had 13. So a balanced offensive attack for Arkansas. They get it done to get back to 500. And they're going to have an interesting matchup today as they're trying to win 5 games in 5 days, while the Razorbacks, of course, as we know, they're going to be taking the court against the South Carolina Gamecocks. So that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be Mississippi State and LSU, and you're going to hopefully hear all those games on 97.7 The Zone. That will be starting at noon. Brian Pasick will be on the call for the SEC Radio Network. LSU, Mississippi State. I still like the guys from the Dogs from Starkville in that one. I know LSU's the 8, but I think Mississippi State, they have to win this to get in. If they don't win it, they're going to be in big, big trouble. So Mississippi State going to take the floor at noon, and then 30 minutes following that in your morning/afternoon session, as we said, South Carolina going to take on those Arkansas Razorbacks. Then there will be a break, and the evening session will start at 6 o'clock. That will be Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Very interesting matchup, but A&M just laid waste to Ole Miss this past Saturday in the Pavilion, 86-60. I'm not expecting that kind of game here, but I do like A&M in the matchup to advance to play Kentucky. The South Carolina-Arkansas winner, of course, gets the Auburn Tigers. We're going to hear from Bruce Pearl here in a few minutes as he spoke to the media yesterday. But again, I really like Auburn. I like Auburn to win the tournament. I haven't changed my mind. And then Mississippi State would, if they can get this win over LSU, they would take on Tennessee on Friday, who also had a bye. And then now, with that win last night, as we were just sort of talking about, it was another really good game, and Mizzou had, at least as much as an 8-point lead in the second half last night, as they trailed by 1 at halftime, but then came back to, lead at one time 43-35. But Georgia kept plugging away. Georgia ends up basically, I guess the best way to put it, it was an ugly game, but they eased away at the end. Missouri had some good looks at the rim, with a chance to win. Did not convert. Georgia ices the game at the line, 64-59. So the Dogs, the 11 seed, they go to 17-15. Missouri, just like we talked about with Vandy, a very tough year, 8-24, 0-19 in the SEC. Did not win an SEC game. So the Georgia Bulldogs advance in the bracket, and they, of course, now will take on the Florida Gators in that big rivalry, Georgia-Florida. That will be the last game of the day tonight. That will be the last game of the evening session, 30 minutes after the Ole Miss Texas A&M game. That's probably going to be in the realm of 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. It'll be a late one, but I believe Brian Pasick will be on the call for that one as well. So Brian Pasick is going to be busy with the SEC radio network, and he will also call the Alabama game on Friday, of course, with Chris Stewart, and you'll hear that here on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. The Crimson Tide will get the winner of that Florida-Georgia game in the last game of the evening on Friday, which could be 4 outstanding matchups, depending on if chalk holds, except for Mississippi State wouldn't be chalk. It'd be a 9-8, but it still would be outstanding stuff and outstanding theater, and we're looking forward to that. Later in the show, we are hoping and efforting to catch up in the second hour with Chip Walters, who is the play-by-play announcer for the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. And speaking of that, I was part of a little March Madness last night. I was over at Probst Arena, and it was very exciting. It's the first year, as you know, we've been over there to the last couple of days for the show, and we're honored to be hosting the Conference USA tournament for the first time, and some high-level action. I mean, we had an upset last night. In the first game, number 1 seed Sam Houston, they dispatched FIU, who had won on Tuesday in a de facto play-in game. FIU had come back to defeat Jacksonville State, come back from a double-digit deficit to win 76-67. And then they, of course, took on Sam Houston. It was 78-59. Sam Houston basically controlled that game, the Bearcats, the entire game. Credit to Sam Houston, who, as we said, is the top seed in the tournament, and they go to 21-11. FIU finishes 11-22. But here's where we got interesting last night. Our final game of the night, Middle Tennessee had a nice contingent come up from Murfreesboro down I-65. They get the job done over number 2 seed Louisiana Tech. They get the job done 70-67. It was a tight game throughout. It was a 32-27 lead for Louisiana Tech at halftime, but Middle Tennessee just kept plugging away and really controlled the second half. And huge kudos to them. Middle Tennessee, they go to 14-18. Louisiana Tech ends their season likely at 22-10. They might have some NIT aspirations, or CBI. There's other postseason tournaments, but they're not going to go to March Madness. And so you got to give Middle Tennessee a lot of credit, no doubt about that. And they were led by the 18 points of Justin Porter. The guard play was really good the whole second half, I thought, for Middle Tennessee. I thought that's how they basically controlled the game. Justin Porter was really good. And then Jared Coleman-Jones also very, very good as well, the big man from Jacksonville. He gave them the post presence they needed. He ended up with 16 points and 10 rebounds, a double-double, and just some big plays made by a lot of these guys. For Middle Tennessee, they had a balanced score sheet, though. Only 2 in double figures, but they get the W over Louisiana Tech, who had a really good year, but just when you're in these leagues like the Conference USA, man, one bad game, and they missed some free throws in the last 5 minutes to allow Middle Tennessee to stay in the lead and to kind of keep them at arm's length. They made a run late, but it was too little too late as the Blue Raiders get the job done. So the Blue Raiders and Liberty, the Liberty Flames, they both have 2 teams alive in the men's and women's tournament, so we're excited about that. They should both bring excellent contingencies and fan bases to the arena today. And the action will start first with the women's tournament. These two tournaments are going on concurrently. And today's matchups will be Jacksonville State taking on Louisiana Tech. Jacksonville State, as we know, the men went home a couple days ago. Louisiana Tech's still alive, and they have a lot of tradition in women's basketball. Under Leon Barmore, won national championships, but not having the strongest year. But again, you're in a one-bid league, and all that matters is how you're playing right now. So the first game of the day at 11:30 a.m. will be Jacksonville State and Louisiana Tech, followed at 2 by the New Mexico State Aggies and FIU. FIU having a very strong year, 20-win season. That'll be the 2 o'clock game. And then, as we said, on the men's side today, it will be on Thursday. It will be UTEP and Liberty. And we had on the drive last night, I was with Steve Moulton over at Probst Arena, and we had Brody Peebles on from Liberty, one of their top 4 scorers. He's a young man from Hartselle. Richie McKay's team's really good ball club, but they're playing a UTEP team that plays pressure basketball. This is really an outstanding matchup. Should be a great game. It'll be starting at 5:30 to kick off your evening session over at Probst Arena, UTEP and Liberty. And then New Mexico State, the Aggies, a lot of tradition there too. Chris Jans at Mississippi State a couple years ago was at New Mexico State, got them to the tournament. They are now in Conference USA, and they will be taking on Western Kentucky, who has always had a rich history in the NCAAs. And, of course, they are under first-year coach Steve Lutz. And Steve Lutz, of course, coached that Texas A&M Corpus Christi team last year against Alabama in Birmingham in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So that's some exciting action that we're going to be monitoring. But we're going to go on a break. When we come back, the phone line's open to you, 256-576-4977, if you want to join us here on this Thursday edition of Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck reported in Decatur, Old Trinity and Woodall. That one is coming in as an injury type. On Governors at the railroad crossing, there's no train, but the signals are activated. And we got a traffic signal malfunction in Decatur at Caradale and Spring. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
AL cert number 21014.
Are those high utility bills driving you crazy this time of year? If they are, Talent Heating and Air has the special for you.
That's right. We're going to run a $49 spring checkup on your system. We're going to come out, we're going to check those heat kits, make sure that everything was working through the winter right, and then we're going to also make sure your Freon's good, make sure that you're ready for the summertime.
How important is that to be done this time of year?
It's really the most important time of the year. We can avoid safety concerns caused by wintertime use, and then we can also make sure that you're ready for the summertime.
And to get ready for the summertime, you just got to call
256-503-4490.
Or you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
That's Talent Heating and Air. One more time,
256-503-4490.
Talent Heating and Air. Let them save you money.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education. And now, leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps. But it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
Welcome back to this Thursday edition of Talkin' Ball. I'm D-Squared, Drew DeArmond, here flying solo. Steve Moulton on assignment right now, trying to help us out here and get some things straightened out here at the radio station. But we are streaming. If you want to join us, we can take your phone calls, 256-576-4977, if you want to talk a little March Madness, because that's basically going to be the tenor of the show today. We're going to hear from Bruce Pearl just here in a few minutes. Bruce Pearl spoke to the media. The Auburn Tigers are my pick to win the SEC tournament just because I think their guard play has picked up tremendously in the last month. They got Jalen Williams back, and when you have Jalen Williams and Jonai Broome, I think it's the best 1-2 punch inside in the Southeastern Conference. And certainly they're going to have an interesting matchup, very likely with South Kakalaki. I like South Carolina over Arkansas, even though I know Arkansas is fully capable, but they are also capable of losing to Vandy, and they were very fortunate they didn't last night. So I like South Carolina to win today and get to Auburn. And then I think it's going to be a really good game, but Auburn has already thrashed South Carolina. I like Auburn on a neutral floor, so I'm going to take the Tigers, even though there'll be a lot of people, liking South Carolina on a neutral floor in a rematch. And, I mean, it's a 4-5 game. South Carolina, just finished we know Lamont Paris, he's coach of the year. I mean, they just finished behind the Tennessees of the world. They got swept by Tennessee. They finished a couple games back. But, again, they have a really, really good basketball team, and they've been the best story of the SEC when you're talking about I was in Birmingham at the Bohemian Hotel just a few months ago in Birmingham, for SEC Basketball Media Day, and they were picked dead last, but they certainly have proven they're a good basketball team, no doubt about it. And now we're going to go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline because, as we said, we are still streaming. We are still on our YouTube channel, but B. Rich is going to join us this morning. B. Rich, what's up, man?
Good morning, Drew.
Hey, man.
Hey, just wanted to talk a little Bama SEC tournament action here.
Right.
At this point, Drew, Alabama pretty much is what they are right now. Just like to get your perspective. I would like to see the defense has been an issue all year. We know that. It seems like, they can score points, and we just need to kind of embrace that. Do you kind of expect Nate to lean on that four-guard offense and just kind of maybe ride that lineup? And, just see if we can I hate to say it because, if we can get situational stops, I think this team can still, achieve some good things. But it seems like we just need to kind of embrace that offensive philosophy and just ride the offense and try to put up some points and maybe get some situational stops and try to build a little bit of momentum because I believe we're only 6-4 in our last 10. So
right.
Might be a good spot to build some momentum, throw up some points, and we seem to shoot it well at Bridgestone. So just kind of your thoughts on letting the offense kind of drive this machine.
Well, and you're right. That's the kind of team it's been all year. But the problem is I don't know that Ryland Griffin will be available. I know Coach Oates had some good things to say and that he's getting better every day. But my gut's telling me it's going to be a true game time decision. And I wouldn't be surprised if they held him out a little bit to make sure that he was healthy for next week because next week is the most important part of it. Now, he's their best perimeter defender when he's locked in, got good length, and he's a double-digit scorer. But we've all seen the impact Latrell Wrightsell has, what he, you were watching the Arkansas game, what he did to help them come back and win that 72 to 68, or excuse me, good Lord. I've got to the game on my brain. It was 92-88 in overtime over in Tuscaloosa. And if you have Reitzel, he helps balance the floor. He's the best three-point shooter in the SEC. He's the best free throw shooter because he hasn't missed one. Certainly he and Mark Sears are as good a guard tandem as there is. But as you heard Nate Oates say earlier in the show, it also kind of wears them down because they don't have as much depth. And right now, especially with Ryland being out, they're taking on heavy minute load. So it's going to be really interesting. I think a guy like Davin Cosby is going to be important because, as you saw at Ole Miss, he's capable. He went 5 of 10, made 5 threes, and he can space the floor. He can shoot it. They're going to need some production out of him, I got a feeling, because Ryland Griffin, even if he plays, is probably going to be somewhat limited. I don't think they'll play him certainly 30-plus minutes a game. They'll probably try to ease him back in the SEC tournament if he does play. So I think Davin Cosby is going to have to give him some minutes, no question about that. Going to have to defend. And I think him talking about Nick Pringle the way he did, Pringle has got to be locked in. Pringle and, Grant Nelson. If they're both locked in and can defend without fouling, Alabama can at least have some sort of post presence. And Nick is very, very capable. When Alabama's been good in down the stretch of this season, in the second half of the season, it's been, Nick Pringle bringing it. And I thought Nick Pringle was really good in the overtime. He actually did not get in foul trouble in the last game as much. And so Grant Nelson did foul out, but Nick Pringle did not. I'm not expecting much out of McGee. I mean, they may have to play him if they get in foul trouble. But it's Grant Nelson and Pringle, to me, are the guys you've got to count on because I think you know what you're going to get with a healthier Reitzel, who he said is 90-95%. You know Mark Shears is a first-team All-SEC guy. You're expecting him to play well and get you buckets. But again, without Ryland Griffin, the other guys are going to have to play well. And I think Grant Nelson, Nick Pringle kind of hold the key to that. No question about it. But a guy like Davin Cosby, too, could be. And I remember last year in the first game, I believe it was against Mississippi State, the dude that stepped up and got double figures that no one would have talked about in Alabama's 3-game run was Noah Gurley. Noah Gurley made some big shots, played like a vet, played really well, and a lot of times that's what a guy like Nick Pringle needs to do. He needs to, if Alabama, depending on and they don't know their opponent yet, but if you're playing against Florida, Florida's a bigger team, so you're going to need, Nick Pringle and Grant Nelson to play well. Grant Nelson played exceptionally well, had 22 against the Gators in that 98-93 overtime win, but then in the second game, he got in foul trouble. He did not play well. They need Grant Nelson to play like he did again the first time against the Florida Gators, and really after he spent so much time on the bench in foul trouble. I know he ended up, of course, eventually fouling out, but he played well. And actually, I guess he did stay on the floor, but he was out over 10 minutes in the second half against Arkansas. But at the end of regulation and into overtime, I should say, he was in massive foul trouble, but he made threes and he made shots and he was able to stay on the floor. And so that's key, though. But he did foul out against Florida in limited minutes. And so Grant Nelson has to be on the floor. Nick Pringle has to be on the floor right now with Ryland Griffin banged up, to me, for Alabama to at least get one win. And that's probably going to be against Florida, who's a bigger team. And then, like we said, I think I'm confident with Sears and then Reitzel. And Reitzel, we really haven't seen him much against Florida at all. So Florida will have to deal with him. But if they can get like Davin Cosby to take up some of the slack, if he could score 8 to 10 points off the bench and kind of mitigate the loss of Ryland Griffin if Ryland doesn't play, I think that would be immense for Alabama, and that's what they're going to need in a 3-game run to try to get to Saturday, because I just think Florida's a really good team, but I do think Alabama can beat them in a neutral floor matchup. I like I have said all week I like Auburn in the tournament, but I think Alabama could be playing Kentucky on Saturday, and that would be great theater if they can both come through.
I agree with you, brother. And, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You would like to build some momentum going into the tournament, but also if you do happen to go out early on Friday, that may provide some key rest for Ryland Griffin and the rest of the guys, as long as they can reach that, their mental state and build some momentum and really get ready to make a run in this tournament, they get to the second weekend, there'll be a lot of naysayers out there. They might have their Lank shirts while they're out there warming up and all that. But we'll see how it shakes out, man. Drew, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, B. Rich, we appreciate it. And I'll say this too, with Alabama, and they're coming off that game against Arkansas where, Rylan Griffin did not play and was out with this calf injury. And Nick Pringle gave him a double-double. Grant Nelson did as well. We talked about Reitzel, but they're going to need a better game out of Estrada. He's going to have to. He's been kind of the guy that stirs the drink. He did not have a good shooting game against the Razorbacks. He needs to play better in this game coming up on Friday. And like we said before, another guy like Davin Cosby is going to have to come off the bench. And I think another couple of interesting guys. Coach Oates says that Jaron Stevenson's had his best practices. He can give them another big and can also stretch the floor with his three-point shooting. And even Mohamed Diobate, who can give you some physicality, some rebounding. So you're probably going to need, out of those three guys that are not really starters and haven't started a ton, Jaron Stevenson a couple of times, a handful or whatnot, with the injury down the stretch to Latrell Reitzel. He started a few games. But you're going to need either Jaron Steven, Davin Cosby, Mohamed Diobate, somebody to step up probably if you're going to win 3 games in a row or at least get to the weekend. They're going to have to be productive against Florida. But I tell you what, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers. Stay with us here on this first hour of Talkin' Ball on this Thursday.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. An isolated shower certainly can't be ruled out, but it looks like most of us are going to stay dry until we get to Thursday evening and then into the overnight. Even then, the best chance for rain is going to come to the Tennessee Valley through the early part of Friday morning. Looks like rain is going to stick with us through the Friday morning commute and then even as we head into the lunch hour on Friday afternoon. From there, scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast through the later part of Friday afternoon and then into Friday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They're just clearing on that wreck in Morgan County, Old Trinity and Woodall. That one reported as an injury type, but I'm not sure anybody went to the hospital. Had a problem with a traffic signal indicator, Caradale and Spring. It was flashing. And problems through the medical district because of a malfunctioning railroad crossing signal on Governors. Snelling can help you with your accounting and office professional staffing needs. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
Welcome back. Before we go and hear from Bruce Pearl, and the Auburn Tigers, and they take the floor on Friday as they're awaiting their opponent, which, as we said, will be either South Carolina or Arkansas. We have a caller on the phone that should be very happy. It was a great day to be a Blue Raider, as the women are the heavy favorite, I believe, to cut the nets down and win the Conference USA Ladies Championship over here in the Rocket City. They have an outstanding squad. They've already beaten the Tennessee Lady Vols here for the first time in school history in Huntsville, and they rolled in their first win 78-50 yesterday, just absolutely dominating. And then the men pulling off the stunner. But I just tell you, Conference USA is very competitive. I mean, I didn't see a lot of difference in the teams. I was watching it last night with the eye test, and Middle Tennessee looked just every bit as good as the number 2 seed Louisiana Tech and deserved to win the game. Thought they really played better in the second half. But I know Jeff from the Borough is very happy with that. And Nick McDevitt has got them on a postseason run now, and they could very well win this tournament. I think they're very capable. I thought their guard play was outstanding last night. Jeff, what's going on?
How you doing, Drew?
Good, man.
Well, I was going to say I did listen to most of the men's game last night.
It was a really good game, man. I enjoyed it.
I mean, like our guy is our radio guy,
Chip Walters, yeah.
He said most of the year, but really down the end of the year. And when you look at Conference USA from about third place, you look at the standing from about third place to about really ninth place. There's not a whole lot of difference.
I didn't see any.
I mean, there was like a 4-way tie, whatever, or 5, whatever it was, and Middle Tennessee just had to be seeded 7th because of tiebreakers.
Yes.
I don't know why they were 7th anyway to begin with. I mean, they could have been 3rd or 4th, and they could be having a bye or not even or whatever. But they were seeded 7th because of tiebreakers. But they just played them. They just played Louisiana Tech like the last. I think it was Saturday. They went down there and played them to close the conference season out.
Yeah, that's right. 84-70.
They lost by like 14, 15, whatever it was. So they just played them the 5 days ago. So I mean, they were down 5 at half. They had to battle and come back. But these guys, they fought all year long. But now they lost their best player early on in the season, Cam West. If they'd had him, they might have 20 wins right now at least, because I mean them and Liberty were big top 2. They were big top 2 teams, or tied to winning or whatever in the preseason. So I mean, I don't know what Louisiana Tech will do now. I hope they get out to whatever they do, but they've got a really good basketball team. But like you said, there's not much difference as far as the women's team goes. I mean, they're going to be when you go unbeaten in the league, and I think your average margin of victory is 20 points. I mean, everybody over here, not everybody, but people are kind of ticked off that when they had the conference awards of all conference, that we went 16 low in the league. Okay, but second place team was Florida and the women's side was Florida International. They went 11-5. Okay, all conferences, and they voted on Coach of the Year. Well, Coach of the Year, they gave it to the Florida International coach.
I got you.
So everybody like, what is going on? We go 16 low. I think their average margin of victory, I want to say, was like 20 points, 18, 20. They had like one close game when they played Louisiana Tech the first time. They went down there and played overtime, and the rest of them they just and so everybody I read something about there was an altercation or something with Rick Insel, UTEP's coach, yesterday because she came out and said that she voted for Rick Insel for Coach of the Year, and so everybody now is admitting they did it. They voted for him, but they're not going to come out and say really who voted. But that's what everybody, our fan base can't believe that he didn't get Coach of the Year. It's unbelievable to them that he can't. And see, I didn't think it was that big a deal to Insel, but that one thing he does get ticked off, and I can tell you this: when they have spring meetings and stuff, he does get ticked off the fact that these other schools don't schedule with stuff as Middle does, non-conference. They won't schedule because if you look at the net rankings. Middle is like high 30s right now. I mean, maybe 37, 30, and the next conference team is like 100 something. So that's one thing he doesn't like. But now there's a lot of our fan base when he came out Monday, whenever he came. I mean, they could not believe that he wasn't picked. It's just like, what is going on?
And that, that's like Nick Saban though. Sometimes when you're picked to be good, and then somebody else has kind of had a Cinderella story, and they kind of reward that coach.
And
that's tough.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of jealousy with Enzo too.
Right.
And the same thing about it was, I don't know if you know, see, he was a real successful
High school coach, yep.
Before he got to middle, and people, and he had, when he was hired, almost 20 years ago, there was critics. I said, what are you doing hiring this guy for? He's a high school coach. He can't coach no college. What are you doing hiring him, And of course, he'd won 10 state championships. I think finished a runner-up another 5-6 times. He had talent at the boozoo. And let me tell you this one quick story. When he was in high school, do you remember Tiffany Woosley?
Yes.
Played for the let me tell you this. This is funny as all get out. They had the all district. I don't know what y'all do for y'all, but they had district meetings, for the tournaments and stuff.
Right.
So they set the tournaments and everything. So they voted all district. That year. I think they're junior, senior. I can't which junior, senior year. Okay, they voted. She didn't even get on the all district team.
Wow.
Didn't even make that. Well, get this now. The very next day, it comes out the very next day now that USA Today comes out the very next day and names her National Player of the Year. Over there, and she didn't even make the all district over there. That's the way it is. I think some of it's politics.
Oh, no question.
But some of it's jealousy. They're jealous of Enzo, and of course when he's a shovel, they was big time jealous of him.
They were on Scholastic Sports America, man. Everybody knew
that was
Shelbyville,
big
Tennessee,
time.
and women's.
But
Yeah.
he wouldn't beat you some. He'd beat you bad. He'd beat you. And that's why it is some now when he's in middle now because our program. I mean, you've seen our fan base up there.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was good last night. Yeah, it was good.
They had 2-3 sections full up. I mean,
Yep.
the women's game. I know about 11 yesterday morning. I know about the women's game yesterday. You seen our fan base up there? They said they had 2-3 sections full up there yesterday.
It was loud.
We're gonna bring the people now.
Well, Chip Walters, and we hope we're efforting to get Chip on in the second hour at 8:30. But I was right behind them for their call, and he was telling everybody, "Hey, come up Friday down I-65 because it's going to be basically a double header because you're going to have the men playing at 2 and then the women playing at 5:30 on Friday."
Yeah. You can just come. You can get to Huntsville. Hey, you can go through Fayetteville. You can get up around 231 and go. That's how I lived in Fayetteville before you. You can go 231 and cut and go to Huntsville Highway and get to Huntsville. I don't know where Bond Street or Bond Center ain't moved.
Right.
Just go. You can go through that way. You ain't got to go 65. But it's quicker, I'm sure. But no, I mean you seen our fan base up there. We drew the last game of the year. We played at 9:30 in the morning because state tournaments up here.
That's right. Yeah.
We drew 4,200 people.
I mean,
9:30 a.m. I drew 4,200 people for our game with Louisiana Tech. We played the last conference game of the year. So our fans are going to come this close enough for us. So we gonna be down there Friday too. So I'm hoping Saturday. I hope we got 2 teams in it for Saturday, but we'll see. But I mean, that's the thing. So, but y'all hang in there, guys. Hope y'all enjoy the basketball. So take care.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate the call. And I think they get the winner, Middle Tennessee does now, of Western Kentucky. And as we said, Steve Lutz, the first-year coach of the Hilltoppers, he was watching intently. He was really scouting both games because you got to – but, of course, he knows he was getting the winner of Middle Tennessee and Louisiana Tech, and he gets Middle Tennessee. That will be a very interesting matchup if they beat New Mexico State today. Now, I should say if because Western Kentucky hasn't won, and certainly New Mexico State's a program in transition, but they're very capable. As a matter of fact, to show you kind of the crazy world of college basketball, their first-year coach was at Sam Houston, who's the number 1 seed, and now his assistant has taken over the Sam Houston Bearcat program. But it's going to be some interesting matchups potentially in Conference USA. And after what I saw of the Blue Raiders yesterday, I mean, it's about getting hot and playing well at the right time. And I think Jeff made a great point. There's not a whole lot of difference between the 1 seed all the way down to 7 with Middle Tennessee. And so, and I know a lot of people think Liberty's got a great shot. I'm looking forward personally to being there for the evening session tonight for those men's games because I want to see Brody Peebles coming back home. We had him on the drive last night, and that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Liberty is a really good team that, as you heard Jeff say, was picked to win or the conference in the regular season, the preseason poll, but they will be playing today. Will the Liberty Flames, and they're going to be taking on UTEP. And as I said, UTEP's 16-15, but there's not a whole lot of difference between UTEP and Liberty. UTEP is an outstanding team as well, a dangerous team. And you got to understand with these Conference USA teams, they have to play difficult out-of-conference schedules at times and play these guarantee games, and so they're going to take some losses. But then, as I said, the 8:00 game, New Mexico State and Western Kentucky, and that winner of that game will get Middle Tennessee at 2:00 on Friday. But we need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up Hour 1 and then hear from Bruce Pearl. Appreciate B. Rich and Jeff from the Borough giving us a call.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They're just clearing on that wreck in Morgan County, Old Trinity and Woodall. That one reported as an injury type, but I'm not sure anybody went to the hospital. Had a problem with a traffic signal indicator, Caradale and Spring. It was flashing. And problems through the medical district because of a malfunctioning railroad crossing signal on Governors. Snelling can help you with your accounting and office professional staffing needs. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
It's a beautiful day for a ball game.
Here it comes, and there it goes. Fly ball, deep left field, way back. This one is up. This one is gone.
Grab your peanuts and Cracker Jacks and get ready to cheer on the Tide.
Called third strike, a slider lower inside corner.
The Tide plays here all season long.
Here's a spin. Here's Bowman's throw home. The slide, and he's safe.
On your home for Alabama baseball, the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Last few minutes of Hour 1 here of Talkin' Ball on this Thursday. And as we were telling you about the small world of coaching and how it all kind of intertwines. And they got a big win yesterday, Sam Houston, the Bearcats. They're not Sam Houston State anymore. It's Sam Houston. That's what you got to understand. A lot of these, just like Middle Tennessee, they're not MTSU anymore. They're Middle Tennessee. You're having to reprogram yourself. But the Sam Houston Bearcats, they're 21-11 right now. Chris Mudge is their head coach. He was elevated from associate head coach. He is a Rick Barnes guy. Worked for Coach Barnes at the University of Texas. And worked his way up and was on the staff of Jason Hooten. And Jason Hooten is the first-year head basketball coach of the New Mexico State Aggies after 13 years at Sam Houston State, including 6 20-win seasons. They won an NIT game last year. He said he had 20-win seasons for the last 6 years with Sam Houston and with the Bearcats, but now he's with the New Mexico State Aggies. So if they played in the championship game, how juicy would that be? Sam Houston and could potentially play the New Mexico State Aggies, and that would be tremendous theater, just simply because of the ties between the two programs and the two coaches mentoring one another. As far as Hooten, his longtime assistant, Mudge taking over the program, and then there would be an NCAA tournament bid on the line. But Chris Mudge and the Bearcats getting that big win yesterday, very impressively, by the way. A lot of size on that team, a lot of physicality, and they just really overwhelmed FIU inside. FIU got off to a quick start, but it didn't last, and they just really got pounded on the backboards and then inside by of course, as we said, the Sam Houston Bearcats. Sam Houston winning that game 78-59 to go to 21-11. FIU finishes 11-22 after they upset Jacksonville State. But again, just a great game overall by Sam Houston, proving why they're the number 1 seed in this tournament, no question about it. And I was really impressed with them on the glass. 47 total rebounds for them, and only 26 for FIU. They just overwhelmed them on the glass. Their size was just way too much with Sam Houston. And I'm telling you what, when you watch Sam Houston, that's the first time I've seen either one of them play live, or I haven't been able to watch them on television. But Sam Houston, very, very impressive physically. You're just looking at the big dudes, and I was watching FIU, and FIU is a up-tempo team. Brody Peebles kind of gave us a little bit of a scouting report, said that FIU plays a free, fast style, but the Bearcats are very physical, and you could see that, man. They just wore them out on the glass, and the number 1 seed marches on as they get the 78-59 win with 47 rebounds, just monsters on the glass and getting the ball inside and hammering the smaller FIU team. So really good job by Chris Mudge and his team to advance and march on to the next round. And they will now be in the semifinals and are very excited. They're one step closer to being in the NCAA tournament. And they will play the winner of that Liberty-UTEP game, which will be tonight at 5:30. What a matchup that could potentially be with either squad, but especially with our tie to Brody Peebles being from Hartselle. There would be a huge crowd there, I would think, with Liberty potentially taking on the top seed Sam Houston. And then, as we said, now we have a Cinderella story somewhat, even though, again, as Jeff from the Borough pointed out, there's not a lot of difference in these teams, as Middle Tennessee is marched on already, and they will get the winner of Western Kentucky and New Mexico State in the semifinals. And either opponent would probably be a very, very interesting matchup with New Mexico State and their history. If they get hot at the right time, Jason Hooten knows how to get to the NCAA tournament into postseason. He's doing a good job in his first year at New Mexico State. And plus, there was a mess he had to clean up there with the Aggies. But we know Chris Jans a couple years ago got them to the tournament, and he did a great job. He used that as a springboard to go to Mississippi State. So New Mexico State is one of the better Group of 5 jobs if you can get it rolling. So we'll see what Coach Hooten can do. But we're going to go on a break. When we come back, Bruce Pearl. We're going to hear from the Auburn Tigers at the top of the hour. Stay with us.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the G-Bank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
The Raiders have released quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo and receiver Hunter Renfrow to give the new regime more room to operate under the salary cap. They also released backup quarterback Brian Hoyer and defensive tackle Jerry Tillery. The Raiders are a plus $10,000 bet to win the Super Bowl. The White Sox traded right-hander Dylan Cease to the Padres. In exchange, they get reliever Steven Wilson and 3 prospects. Cease was second in American League Cy Young Award voting in 2022. He went 14-8 with a 2.20 ERA. The Dodgers and Padres open the regular season in Seoul, South Korea on the 20th. That's next Wednesday. On the money line, the Padres plus 164, the Dodgers minus 198. Yu Darvish starts for the Padres, Tyler Glasnow for LA. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Scott Tyson still on assignment for the NCAA as the swim announcer. Doing a great job. He's not here this week. He'll be back next week at the end of the week, but Scott taking some time off, showing his versatility. But we certainly are going to continue to bring you Talking Ball. And, we, as we said going to break, we were going to talk about the Auburn Tigers because they're one of the favorites in this SEC tournament. They will not take the floor until Friday. The Auburn Tigers, they will be waiting. They will be the second game of the morning/afternoon session over in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. It'll be roughly 30 minutes after the conclusion of the Tennessee Vols. They're all waiting on their opponents. All these top 4 seeds: Tennessee, Auburn, Kentucky, and Alabama, all waiting on to see who they will play, and that will be determined today. Mississippi State, LSU, as we said, at noon to get things kicked off. Brian Pasek will be doing color on that broadcast. Arkansas, South Carolina for the first session. The other game, the Razorbacks playing their second game in 2 days. They'll be taking on South Carolina. South Carolina is a 6.5-point favorite, by the way. Mississippi State, a 4.5-point favorite over LSU. Then Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Texas A&M in a 5.5-point favorite. That will kick off the evening session at 6. And then Georgia, Florida, a 7.5-point favorite to advance and take on Alabama. So these games on Friday could be epic matchups. One of them could involve the Auburn Tigers and potentially South Carolina. And Bruce Pearl spoke to the meeting. We wanted to bring you that conversation.
Start off sort of by congratulating Tennessee on winning the regular season. To win the regular season this year, in a year where the league is as good as I've ever seen it, is quite an accomplishment. For us to be a game out of first place is also an accomplishment, and to win 13 games, to win 5 road games, and to only lose 1 at Neville. Obviously, it checks a few boxes. We put ourselves in position. I'm happy for Aiden Holloway that he was recognized as one of the top freshmen. He leads us in assist turnover ratio. And that's important. That's hard for a freshman to do. He's a guy that teams have to game plan because he's so dangerous from 3 and offensively with the ball. He's improved a lot defensively. He's really worked hard at getting better on the defensive end. And there just aren't that many impact freshmen anymore that aren't at Kentucky or some of the real blue blood programs. So. Happy for Aiden, congratulations, and really happy for Jalen Williams to become an all-conference player in his senior year. He certainly has stepped his game up in many ways, and as has been written and talked about many times, we seem to play our best when he's playing his best. So whether we go as Jalen Williams goes, that's will continue to be determined. But I mean, it's been a real factor for us, and his ability to step up, I think, took this team from. I thought this team could be good. I thought this team would be good with a chance to be very good. And I did think that pick 6 was about where I would have picked us heading in, 6th or 7th. And so, you know, they've exceeded my expectations a little bit. Instead, this was a team that was very good with a chance to be great. And the reason for that are the players, period. You know, the 3 transfers that came in, Denver and Chad and Cheney, have all had tremendous impact on our program, on and off the court. That's one of the more underrated and most successful classes that we've had. And all those guys are positioned for greatness in the future. Jalen stepped up play is a factor, and of course saving the best for last would be Janai Broom. You know, Janai, in every year that he's been in college basketball, he has accomplished things. And so for him to come into Auburn and be an all-conference player as a junior and lead us, you know, to a 10-point lead at halftime against Houston and with a chance to get to the Sweet 16 and was an accomplishment last year. And then to come back and be first team All-League, be on the All-Defensive team, be a candidate for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Again, when that was one of the things that Janai, I felt, really needed to work on from junior year to senior year, was to become a better defender, become a better rim protector, to be able to switch out on guards and guard all 5 positions. He's done all that. And then, of course, the last one is this All-American, one of only 14 players in history of Auburn basketball to be an All-American. It was a goal. It was something that mattered to Janai. And just very proud of him for achieving that. We've had 2 good days of practice, Monday and Tuesday. We travel to Nashville today. And we have to prepare for 3 teams: Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and South Carolina. We've beaten all 3 of those teams, and we played exceptionally well, both at Arkansas, particularly in the second half, and then the South Carolina game, which both, and we beat Vanderbilt twice, fairly close. And Vanderbilt, of course, is right there in Nashville. So I would imagine that whoever we play, it'll be a lot closer this next time. I think physicality and remaining unselfish would be the 2 keys to our ability to continue to advance in postseason play. Will we be able to step it up physically? Because they tend to let you play during the tournament, so we got to be able to play through a lot more contact that won't be called, and then continue to share the ball, make each other better offensively, which I think has been part of the key of why some of our offensive numbers have been so good down the stretch.
Bruce, I guess just when you approach a conference tournament like this with the opportunity to play so many different teams, what's kind of your basic overview of the week as a coach when you have to scout different teams? I guess what does your preparation look like?
We have 3 different coaching teams that are scouting. It appears that Stephen Pearl has most of the opponents on this side of the bracket. So as coaches, we are really working on our game plans. The players are working on what we do. We've spent 2 days working on what we do because we don't know who we're playing. So even today, like, I have not gone through, I don't think, nor will I go through any scouting until Thursday with the players. We're going through our offenses and our defenses and the things that we need to get better at, and that's what we're doing.
Bruce, this is a team for you guys. It's the lowest turnover rate and the highest assist rate that you've ever had at a team here. But to have that with two young point guards, I mean, what does that say about Aiden and Trey and just kind of how they've been able to run the show this season on offense for y'all?
Yeah, it's a great stat, and it does speak to the fact that we've got the youngest point guards in college basketball, Power 5, with the exception of maybe Kentucky. Kentucky would have 2 freshmen, and we've got a freshman and a sophomore. You just don't see it anymore. Because of how old teams have gotten and are getting, and with the transfer and everything like that. I think that both Trey and Aiden have taken great care of the ball. They've understood our offenses. They've played within their limitations. They're unselfish. But they both are threats to score. And, they've just done a really good job taking care of the ball and valuing possessions. As has our team, in the sense that one of the things that we talk about, we love to score early. And we also have confidence that what we do can work. And when we get away from it, we don't get as good as shots. We don't put ourselves in as good as offensive rebounding position. We're susceptible to turnovers because the spacing's not there. And we've had a lot of buy-in.
Bruce, what do you think are some of the ingredients of making a postseason run? I know everybody would refer to 2019, but you can go back to 2015 and the SEC tournament run that team made, and those are two very different teams.
Yeah. I mean, I've always sort of held to the thought that cream rises to the top at the end of the year. So I think the most dangerous teams are sometimes the underachieving teams, the ones with lots of talent that just finish the regular season and just don't think they really accomplished anything. They know they left a lot on the table. In 1995, I won a national championship with a team that finished 3rd in the league. And we felt like, and we weren't a team that really got along very well. They didn't like each other, actually they didn't like each other, but I got along pretty well with them. But they were talented, and we had underachieved, which doesn't happen. I'd like to say I don't think does happen very often, because I'm kind of a grinder and I won't allow it. But they did, and they got in that tournament they ran. I think 2019 was a team that had talent and finished 5th in the league, and we felt like we were better than that, and made some runs. So that's often the case. When you are playing your best basketball, down the stretch, that does matter, and we've played some pretty good basketball down the stretch here, so we're in position. You have to have depth because it's 3 games in 3 days, in this case this weekend, and a little bit of back-to-back, and so getting hot at the right time, and knowing that you're playing for something. Experience matters too.
Bruce, you guys will be up there in time to watch that first Vandy Arkansas game, and then whoever wins that versus South Carolina. Is there anything extra you can get from watching those games in person, your scout guys, instead of just relying on film?
Yeah, I mean they'll be able to pick up play calls and OBs, and just they'll be able to pick up some hand signals and some verbals and things like that. That's the thing about live scouting that you can pick up that you can't, because the only time you're allowed to live scout is in tournament play.
BP, Monday will be 10 years to the day since you flew in, had your press conference back there. Just any thoughts a decade later? You said that night, we will play for championships at Auburn. There's no question in my mind. And Auburn hadn't done much recently up until then. So just looking back 10 years later.
Well, it's a tough, with the SEC tournament looming in front of us and NCAA tournament in front of it. I'm not a very good reflector. I could just tell you that I was very emotional that day, extremely emotional. Having my family being around me, us all moving to Auburn, Alabama. Grateful for Dr. Gouge and Jay Jacobs and the board to give me the opportunity to get back into coaching. It was just and I just think all I remember is telling the Auburn family what was in my heart, and I'm glad that I'm glad I'm still here. I do have a tradition that when I do speak to the tip-off club, I do say, War Eagle, and they'll say War Eagle, and I'll say, I'm still here.
Is there anything you and the guys are trying to prove on this trip?
Say what now?
Is there anything you and the guys are trying to prove this season on the trip, tournament?
Yeah, I think that's something that athletes and coaches were built a certain way to try to prove them right or prove them wrong. And I don't think that separates us from the others. I think everybody is going into March with something to prove.
Maybe kind of similar, but a little bit different. When Katie was in here on Saturday, he said that the team had seen some things on College Game Day that they kind of took a little bit personal. Do you feel like this team is playing with a chip on its shoulder? Does this team operate better when it plays with a chip on its shoulder?
I think we do. I think that obviously, if we're picked in the middle of the league, we finished up near the top, or I know specifically that and look, College Game Day guys have been phenomenal to us. They've been there 4 years in a row, and look, they got to pick somebody, but for whatever reason, it was maybe they just don't think we have much rise left. Maybe just think that we've overachieved, and so therefore they felt like we were a little overrated, and that we weren't going to be a team that was going to make much noise. And so, yeah, you definitely use that to motivate the players as to what they're thinking, what other people are thinking.
In the summer when Janai had that run in the scouting and the combine, and then decided to come back, how much, looking back, did you see kind of that has kind of helped him, or I guess kind of pushed him to the season he's had this year?
Well, I don't think when Janai went into the combine, when he first went in, I really think that he was thinking about coming back. But when he went into the combine, and he was one of the very best players at that G League combine, and he really was, that there's nobody there better than he was. And then he got invited to the combine, and then when he went to the combine, he belonged. It gave him confidence. I think it really was a great thing to go through that process. And then once he was evaluated as a potential late second round pick or something, without really any guarantees, he didn't have any guarantees. It was the right decision for him to come back because, right now with NIL, you don't have to go too soon. You don't have to. You can go when you're ready. And so I think that again, it was a really good decision, and he's made a lot out of that decision.
You've talked this season about how well you think your staff has done when the pressure's on this time of the year. How important is it to have that familiarity with that core that you've had for several years now on your staff?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we do is we don't get away from what we do. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And so we'll approach things just so the way we always do, so the kids don't see a whole lot of difference. We'll travel to Nashville the way we always travel to Nashville. We're staying at the same hotel that we stay at when we play at Vanderbilt. We just keep our routines. There's going to be more media. There's going to be more excitement because the fans and obviously the Nashville's going to be lit, and we'd love to spend the weekend there, and we'd love to work all weekend.
BP, what would you say, if you would say anything different, to guys like Chaney, Denver, Aiden, who maybe haven't gone through this high-level postseason sort of atmosphere experience some of the guys have, but those are some key guys that haven't. Is there anything you tell them to prepare them, or do you feel like they're in a good spot?
I don't think I would talk to any of the guys that haven't been to the SEC tournament any differently than the the guys that have been. I actually think that's something that players will talk themselves about what, kind of what to expect, and so on and so forth. My job would be obviously to prepare them, and use, like, in other words, for example, again, it's late, it's March, and the way the games will be officiated, most likely, as long as it's a clean game, they're going to let the kids play. They're just not going to try to get in the way of things. So you're going to get fouled sometimes. It's not going to get called. You got to score through contact. Can't be disrupted quite so much by a hand check. Flopping's not going to get rewarded. Just the way the game will be. And then obviously, again, the physicality of the. So my job would be to prepare the players, sort of for that. Again, because I think the kids like each other, trust each other, they know, I think they know what they got to do, and it's step up time. It's you step up, you stay. You don't, you go home.
And that was Bruce Pearl. We wanted to bring you some of that audio here on this Thursday edition of Talkin' Ball as they get ready to, and they are in Nashville, getting ready to see who their opponent's going to be tomorrow. As they will again get the winner of South Carolina and Arkansas, and they laid waste to both of them during the regular season, beat them both 30+. Did Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers, so they're going to be heavy favorites, probably against both. Even though South Carolina is a very dangerous team, it'll be on a neutral floor. I would expect it to be a much different game this time, even though it's about matchups. But you heard Bruce Pearl talking about Aiden Holloway, freshman All-SEC. And then I liked what he said about Chaney Johnson, who, of course, we had here in studio, the transfer from UAH, who settled in nicely as a role player for Auburn. And then Denver Jones, former Buckhorn alum. I watched his former school last night get eliminated, FIU, because he was in Conference USA last year. But he's done a great job as a starter. Probably their best perimeter defender now. Been knocking down shots, shooting the ball well. So hopefully both those young men will play well in Nashville for the SEC tournament. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, we're going to continue. We take your calls, 256-576-4977. Chip Walters set to join us, the voice of the Blue Raiders, will join us a little bit after 8:30, so stay with us for that.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I don't see anything major snag-wise other than that railroad crossing on Governors just east of the Parkway. That's the Huntsville Railway crossing. That signal's been malfunctioning this morning. And they had a problem with a signal in Decatur at Caradale and Spring. That one was reported as flashing. You get 2 pieces of the hand-breaded juicy tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Welcome back to Talkin' Ball here on this Thursday. Again, Chip Walters, the longtime voice of the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, who was on the call last night for that outstanding upset. But I'd call it an upset, but it really I know they had lost twice to Louisiana Tech in the regular season. But if you watch the game on the hoof last night, it didn't look like there was very much difference within the squads when you're talking about the 2 seed Louisiana Tech, who had a great, outstanding regular season, and then Middle Tennessee, who, of course, had some injuries this year, lost their best player, but now seems to be settling in. Nick McDevitt, who's had huge, shoes to fill. Kermit Davis had a great run there, a long run in Murfreesboro. His last 2 years, they went to the NCAA tournament. They upset as a 15 seed Michigan State in a round of 64 game, a Michigan State team that many thought would win the national championship. So Kermit did a great job with Middle Tennessee, and they've made 9 NCAA tournament appearances in their history, and they've got a proud one. They have as you heard Jeff from the Borough say, they've got an outstanding following. We hope now that they're going to basically play a doubleheader with the men's and the women's programs on Friday, that they're going to make that short trip up I-65, and there's going to be a ton of royal blue and white in the stands over at the Probst Arena at the Von Braun Center. We're really looking forward to that, and I think this Middle Tennessee team has as good a chance as anyone to win it. They won back-to-back Conference USA titles in 16 and 17. No doubt about it. So, and that was, of course, their back-to-back NCAA appearances. And the last time that they won, reached the round of 32, as we said, was in 2017. But they won back-to-back round of 64 games. The first 4 is considered the first couple of rounds now, but in the round they won 2 straight round of 64 games under Kermit Davis. Became a very dangerous program to follow, and Nick McDevitt is trying to get them back there. And we look forward to talking to Chip and getting his thoughts on the game last night, where the Blue Raiders trailed 32-27 at halftime, but I just really thought controlled the game throughout the second half for much of it. Got a little hairy at the end, but then unfortunately for Louisiana Tech, they did miss some free throws. But I thought when they had to, the Raiders' offensive execution was outstanding. They also did a really nice job on the glass as well, and made some big shots, no question about it. And some big plays, hit some big free throws to seal it down the stretch as well. And it was a huge win for the Blue Raiders, and now they march on, and they will take on a team they potentially I know they've played New Mexico State. They've played Western Kentucky. Now, the first time they played Western Kentucky on the road in Bowling Green, it was a tough outing. Western Kentucky had their way. But when they came to Murfreesboro, the Blue Raiders get the job done. So they've split with them. And I believe they also split with the New Mexico State Aggies. So they've got a chance. Then they get the winner of that game between New Mexico State and Western Kentucky. So they've got a shot against either one of those. They got to feel confident. And again, when there's not that much separation, and I was impressed with Sam Houston State, but I definitely think, or Sam Houston, can't say State anymore, but with the Bearcats, I was impressed with the Bearcats, and I think no question they're big and physical, but I think that the Blue Raiders can hold their own, and so it's going to be really interesting to see going forward with who's left in the tournament, kind of where this goes. But I really think Middle Tennessee's got a good shot to continue to advance, and like we said, Western Kentucky and New Mexico State, that will be tonight, and that will be a very interesting matchup that we're looking forward to, and it will be the last game of the night, Western Kentucky, New Mexico State. That will be an 8 o'clock game, and the Blue Raiders would get the winner of said game, and they will play at 2 o'clock on Friday, and then the ladies will play at 5:30 as they're looking to finish a wire-to-wire. They win the league by 5 games, as you heard Jeff in the Borough say. They went 16-0. They beat the Lady Vols here for the first time ever, and it was in our Rocket City of Huntsville. And now they're looking to make the NCAA tournament, and not just make it. I think that ladies team would expect to advance. I mean, we'll see what they would be seeded. That would be very, very interesting. But it could be a great time to be a Blue Raider. But I tell you what, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, Chip Walters is going to join us, the voice of the Blue Raiders, and we're going to talk some Blue Raider basketball as the men's program trying to make a run to get that automatic bid here in the Rocket City.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. An isolated shower certainly can't be ruled out, but it looks like most of us are going to stay dry until we get to Thursday evening and then into the overnight. Even then, the best chance for rain is going to come to the Tennessee Valley through the early part of Friday morning. Looks like rain is going to stick with us through the Friday morning commute and then even as we head into the lunch hour on Friday afternoon. From there, scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast through the later part of Friday afternoon and then into Friday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I don't see anything major snag-wise other than that railroad crossing on Governor's just east of the Parkway. That's the Huntsville Railway crossing. That signal's been malfunctioning this morning. And they had a problem with a signal in Decatur at Caradale and Spring. That one was reported as flashing. You get 2 pieces of the hand-breaded juicy tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University and Jordan, 72 and Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms can include pain, heaviness, aching, fatigue, or swelling at the end of the day. If this has been the case, then Varicosity Vein Center can come to your aid. Evaluation and treatment of the veins is performed as an outpatient, utilizes the latest, minimally invasive techniques, and is covered by most insurances. After treatment, patients may resume most normal activities without delay. Varicosity Vein Center now has 3 North Alabama locations, one in Huntsville on South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road. Our new locations include Madison at Madison Hospital Complex and Coleman at the Coleman Regional Sports Medical Center. You can call 256-715-7151 to set up your appointment with one of our experienced and compassionate team members, or you can visit online at varicosityveincenter.com. Varicosity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's happening is the Conference USA men's and women's basketball tournament for the first time in the Rocket City of Huntsville. Huge shout out to all the folks, Mark Russell. He's done a great job, no doubt about it. And Joel Lamp, all those guys. It's been great to see them over at the Probst Arena at the Von Braun Center, man. It was a great atmosphere last night. A lot of blue in the stands with the Blue Raider Nation coming out, supporting their ladies program, and, of course, the men's program, and led by Nick McDevitt. And what a win it was last night. It was a really high-level college basketball game. I really enjoyed it. I had a chance to have a courtside seat behind the broadcast crew of Middle Tennessee, and the voice of their men's basketball program, and has done a great job for many, many years, over a decade. He's done a great job, and I've had him on before. We talked football. Now we're going to talk some hoops, and that's going to be Chip Walters, and it was great to be a part of that atmosphere last night in Huntsville. Chip, good morning. We really appreciate you joining us, and what a win for the Blue Raiders last night.
Wow, appreciate the time this morning, and it really was. Tournament time gives new life to everybody, and, this middle team had played Louisiana Tech twice.
Yep.
Played them pretty well both times, didn't get a win either time. Back in January, it was a stretch of time where Middle was refinding itself after a couple of major injuries, lost at home by 8, but a game that was tied with 2 minutes to go. Then we go to Ruston last Saturday, as a matter of fact, and down there, Tech scored the first 7 points of each half, end up winning by 14. So, the coaches did a really good job of, going back through and showing the team that, hey, you basically played them flat-footed except for a couple of dry pockets to start each half. And then last night, it was just kind of it was really, it was a tournament atmosphere game. It was back and forth. The pace didn't get super fast. Every possession had meaning, especially in the second half, and you could just feel the tension and the tournament game pressure continuing to rise. In Middle handled it really well, I thought, down the stretch. Would love to have hit 1 or 2 more free throws.
Yeah,
I've never heard to make things just a little bit easier, but the last 5 tournament games Middle's been in the Conference USA tournament has either been overtime or 1 possession, and last night continued that.
Well, and I thought that the start of the second half was big. They were down 5, but I thought they finished the half pretty well because they got down, I think, about 10 points in the first half, but they kept battling. They got within 5 by halftime, and then coming out of the locker room, they came out punching and quickly tied the game. And then basically it was an Ali Frazier kind of thing the rest of the way.
Yeah, we were down 8 with just before the 4-minute timeout.
Yeah.
and cut it to 5. Had cut it to 2, and then they hit a 3 to make it 5 at halftime, and then you're right, got it tied at the just over 16 minutes to play, and then it was back and forth. Biddle had, pushed it out to 8 themselves at 59-51, and then and Tech pulled back within 1 twice in the last 2.5 minutes. But I don't know if you realize this, but Tech did not make a field goal in the last 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, I thought the defense was really good for middle of the last 5 minutes or so of the game. It was a really grimy, gritty game.
Yeah, it was. Again, it was a tournament type game, and you come down to, and Nick McDevitt came on and talked about the defensive effort, in particular by guys like Justin Buford and Jacob Johnson, who really had tough duty because one of them was going to have for Tech was going to have Bacho, who is just an absolute stud, and then Isaiah Crawford, somebody was going to be having to guard him, and they both did a good job, and to keep those two guys as much damage as they'd done all night to no field goals in the final nearly 5 minutes was a huge undertaking. And when you got down to scheming things and all that, and it finally just got down to guts and being able to grind it out, and we're able to do that. And it was a happy bunch. And coaches will tell you that they live for happy locker rooms, and we had one last night.
No question about it. And I just thought the guard play, was really good for Middle Tennessee. I thought they protected the ball well, didn't have a lot of turnovers, and it was a kind of game where down the stretch every possession meant something. And I thought the offensive execution the last 3 minutes for Middle Tennessee was really good as well, Chip.
Yeah, I agree. And Middle had 11 turnovers, Tech had 9. Justin Porter, who has been our best offensive player all year, and he's had a couple of 30-plus games this year, didn't score in the first half, but he came back and he had 18 in the second half. And the other thing I thought was really key for Middle last night was their ability to get to the free throw line.
Yes.
And that's sometimes not easy against Tech. And the thing was, it was not a game that was either way called over tightly, I didn't think. I thought Rick Crawford and that crew last night really set a good tone early by allowing both teams to play, and really, I mean, neither team got in the bonus in the first half.
No.
And it was just I thought just a very high-level college basketball game.
I thought they just let them play down the stretch. I just thought they let the players decide it.
Yep, I thought you're right. I think you're right. And the good thing is you wake up this morning and you get an off day, which I think, they're all happy about that, and a day to prepare. You don't know who you're going to play yet until
Do we have you, Chip?
The renewal of the 100-mile rivalry, 100 miles south. So that'll be interesting. But New Mexico State, they've been good. They're without one of their better players who was involved in an issue with Liberty earlier this year, and he's not been back since. So, but still, it's tournament time, and everybody just gets going. And you mentioned the ladies, and they got off to a slow start yesterday, but boy, when they got going, it was unbelievable. What an onslaught in the second half, and they are a very, very special group, having watched them all year.
There's no question about it, and we're super excited here in Huntsville. First time to host the Conference USA tournament, and now as you were wrapping up your broadcast last night on air before the post game, I was sort of smiling. You were like, "It's time for a big time Blue Raider Friday. Everybody get in the car and come down I-65, and expecting an even bigger." We had a nice contingent last night, but could have the Blue Raiders take over the arena for a doubleheader on Friday, Chip.
Well, I think you're going to see a big crowd here on Friday. And a lot of, as you all know, in the way the schedule falls, the games are kind of back to back. You got the men will be playing at 2:00, the women at 5:30. So just enough time in between to go out and grab something to eat close by and get back in there. And I think you'll see a really, really nice crowd here on Friday. And I think people are excited after last night for sure.
Well, and
great atmosphere, and the arena looks great, by the way. And,
yeah.
There was a huge there was an alumni function for middle alums yesterday at 2:00 there at Rhythm on Monroe, and it was absolutely packed. Right, it was right after the women's game, and I know everybody's excited. The folks who are here for the whole time, they're excited about the concerts, free shows that are coming up each night now at 8:00 over in the Mars Music Hall. So Huntsville's done a great job of rolling out the red carpet, and there's about 1,500 middle alums in Huntsville, and here's the invite, show your true blueness and get out here on Friday afternoon.
Well, and Chip, we're talking to Chip Walters, voice of the Blue Raiders. Talk about the potential matchup. They're going to await the winner of Western Kentucky and, of course, New Mexico State. We talked about them a little bit, but the Blue Raiders lost the first matchups with both of them, but then won both of them back home in Murfreesboro. And I sensed a quiet confidence last night that the Blue Raiders felt like they could beat Louisiana Tech the third time. What about the potential to face a couple teams, either of these squads? What are your thoughts on either matching up with Western Kentucky or New Mexico State?
Well, I think Western Kentucky's got a great point guard and a great post player, so they really can cause you problems, and have a ton of respect for their team. Coach Lutz has done a really good job in his first year in Bowling Green, and put together a roster that had a lot of new faces from a year ago. They were very tough in their building.
Yes.
Again, their point guard he's where last night Newman, the point guard for Tech, is the best distributor of the ball in the entire league. Western's point guard is maybe the best scoring point guard. He along with Justin Porter for middle. But they've got a terrific post player who in his past has worn a Georgia uniform and a Georgia Tech uniform. And when you see him play, you understand why that he has played at that level as well. But he's found a home in Bowling Green. Now, New Mexico State, they're a little bit of a different look to them. They obviously have terrific good players that have got them to this point. Jason Hooten is their head coach, who ironically had been the head coach for the last 10 years or so at Sam Houston.
That's right.
And when New Mexico State really had to blow up their program and start from scratch a year ago after all kinds of stuff going on, Jason Hooten took the opportunity to go out and go to Las Cruces. They have a huge following out there, and they really play defense, and they're very physical. So they kind of like to muck the game up a little bit, and it kind of plays into their hands here at tournament time. So I think you'll have a good matchup tonight. I don't see either one of those running away from each other. It'll be a fist fight, right till the end. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see who it's going to be.
Well, we're looking forward to it because I just felt like going in that it's a one-bid league, but every game there's something at stake because and I still remember the jobs Kermit did, in 16 and 17, winning the conference tournament, and then going in and especially because I think he blew my bracket up. I think I had that Michigan State team winning it all that he beat as a 15 seed. I believe they upset the 2 seed Michigan State. So this is a program that's had success, and I know Nick McDevitt's been there. It was hard for me. I'd forgotten this is already year 6. Wow, it just flies by. But they really look like they're coming into their own. And I watched it last night. I didn't see a lot of difference between the 7 and the 2. And so I just think Middle Tennessee, if they can stay in this rhythm, have got a chance to go on a run here and potentially steal a bid.
Well, we'll see. This is the previous 2 years. Middle had won 46 games, and this year, obviously, we had a spell back in November, December, getting through some injuries and
overtime losses too, man. So many. Could have been a 20-win season easily.
Oh, easily. And now, here the chance to, again, new life, and everybody started 0-0, yesterday, and just looking forward to getting back out there tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon and having a good time. And, today we got you're going to see a lot of Blue Raider fans who are either if they're not at the games today, they're going to be out doing some shopping. I know there's some folks who already had golf games scheduled, and we got a beautiful weather day for that. So I think you're going to see a lot of folks out and about.
Well, we just hope you and everybody with the Blue Raiders enjoys the Rocket City. We're honored to have you here, and we're honored that the Blue Raiders are both going to be playing on Friday. The ladies trying to win the regular season and the tournament and do damage in the NCAA tournament. I think they can definitely do that. They've already been to the Rocket City and beat the Tennessee Lady Vols, and the Blue Raider men trying to get back to the tournament for the first time since 2017. But, Chip, good luck to the Blue Raiders, and we really appreciate the time and looking back on a huge win last night, upsetting Louisiana Tech.
All right, my man. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. That's Chip Walters being very generous with his time. We're going to go on a break, and we're going to wrap things up here on this Thursday edition of the Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The countdown to opening day is on, and the Atlanta Braves radio network is bringing you the biggest coverage from Florida as we gear up for the 2024 season. The Braves open the season Thursday the 28th on the road in Philadelphia as the hunt for a 7th straight division title begins. Then it's an epic home opener on Friday, April 5th against the Arizona Diamondbacks as Truist Park comes alive for Braves baseball.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Looks like we're going to wrap things up in pretty good shape this morning. I don't see anything major snag-wise. We've had slowdowns because of a traffic signal problem at Carradale and Spring and a railroad crossing problem on Governor's east of the Parkway. That's caused some problems for traffic coming through the medical district. Snelling can help you find the office and accounting professionals you need. Direct hire, temp, or temp to hire. Snelling, partnering with the area's top companies for over 60 years. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye, Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And we are wrapping things up on this Thursday. We appreciate everybody for listening and on our streaming on our app, 977 The Zone app, and of course watching on our YouTube feed, WZZN TV. We're having some technical difficulties with our being over the air. Is our regular, of course, on 97.7, our signal on FM, but we're working on that. Steve Moulton diligently trying to get us back, but we appreciate everybody for still supporting us. We appreciate B. Rich, Jeff from the Borough for calling in. And again, we're going to reset the schedule here. It's a great day for Huntsville. You heard Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, talking about their win last night over the number 2 seed Louisiana Tech, the 7 seed men. But the women today on Thursday, it's going to start back up at 11:30 a.m. over at the Probst Arena at the Von Braun Center. Jacksonville State, the Lady Gamecocks, going to take on the Louisiana Tech Lady Texters. This is a program at Louisiana Tech that's got proud history. They've won national championships under the legendary Leon Barmore in the past. That'll be the first game at 11:30. Then at 2 o'clock, New Mexico State Lady Aggies against FIU Lady Panthers. And another note, Louisiana Tech, the only time Alabama has made the Final Four on the women's side, and really the men have only made the Elite Eight. Rick Moody took his team to the Final Four. They lost in the semifinals to Louisiana Tech in a very tight, close game with Leon Barmore. And then, of course, I believe Sylvia Hatchell, and that was 1994. And the Lady Tar Heels won it at the buzzer over Louisiana Tech. But that's the Thursday women's games. On the men's side of Conference USA, that will be your evening session today. That will be UTEP, the Miners, Don Haskins fame. UTEP going to be playing Liberty and Richie McKay. Liberty, of course, is a slight favorite in this game, but these are going to be both hotly contested games. You heard Chip talking about these teams. He's seen the Blue Raiders compete against them. UTEP and Liberty at 5:30. And then the last game of the night, New Mexico State, the Aggies, they will be taking on Steve Lutz and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, another tradition-rich program, New Mexico State and Western Kentucky. That will be the last game of the day. And then, of course, we're efforting to have, of course, all the action on our station. So what you need to do is you need to go sit in the stands, watch Conference USA, and then start and listen to the SEC tournament on 97.7 The Zone. It's going to be a full day starting at noon, Mississippi State, LSU, and then the second game of the afternoon session, Arkansas, South Carolina. Then they're going to clear the arena, and then starting at 6 tonight, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and then Georgia and Florida. So a full day of basketball. We appreciate everybody for joining us on this Thursday edition of Talkin' Ball. We'll be with you tomorrow. We've got our guests lined up. Blake Lovell going to join us and talk some SEC tournament. Going to be really good stuff as he's going to just break it down for us for Southeastern 14. We really look forward to that. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you on Friday on ESPN 97.7 The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.